Welcome to this webinar organized by EUROTUNNEL Le Shuttle Fret. I'm Christian Dufermont. I'm the Fret Director of EUROTUNNEL. I'm told that you are close to 300 people following us this afternoon, so I thank you all for this. I hope that you have got a good connection and that you can hear me clearly. Is it okay here in the room? Yes, I'm told it's okay, so let's start. So, first of all, this presentation will be available on our website, and you will have this presentation recorded in both French and English. This afternoon, we have this webinar in English. We had the same webinar this morning in French, and over the next few days, we will have also the same webinars, but covered in German, Spanish, Polish, Portuguese, Italian. If you want to join any of these, or your colleagues, or your team members, don't hesitate to contact us to get the link. Everything that you will be shown this afternoon and be explained is based on our current understanding of the rules and the process set up by the government on both sides. Of course, it's likely to change or to evolve over the next few weeks. So this is the situation as on which we have based our process today. The format of this webinar, I will show you a presentation, slide presentation that will take roughly 45 minutes. You will have the opportunity at the end of the session and over the next few days to send all your questions on the site that you can see on the screen. And a second webinar has been organized in 2 weeks' time so that we can answer all your questions in this second webinar. Okay, so please send us every question you have after this session, but you will not have the option during this webinar. We are too many to organize a live session, so we don't look for a possibility to ask your question live today. There is no chat available and no Q&A live available today. Objectives of this webinar. Let's be clear, we will not cover political subjects. We are not here to decide whether Brexit is a good idea or not. We are not here to talk about the possibility of deals or whatever is appropriate between now and the end of the year. It will not focus either on how the custom part and the declaration part and all the work that has to be done before crossing the channel has to be done. This is covered by many other webinars organized by the DOUANE, HMRC, and other agencies. And you will have a lot of information on this through links that we have put on our website on eurotunnelfret.com. The key focus for this webinar today is to tell you how you will continue to cross with EUROTUNNEL from the 1st of January 2021. So the presentation will be formed in 3 parts, so a few key messages to start with. Then we will go into the detail of the process of a vehicle between France to the UK, and then back from the UK to France, so that it's absolutely clear of what you have to do for you and your drivers to cross the channel with EUROTUNNEL. Let's start with the key messages. And the key one that everybody has to have in mind is that the UK has now left the EU. It's done. Brexit has been done. It was done at the beginning of this year. This is not something that will change, okay? Now, there is still this question of whether a deal or any kind of deal will be agreed before the end of the year. In any case, even if there is a full deal, there will still be new requirements to cross the border from the 1st of January, just because the UK is no longer part of the EU. These formalities will have to be done for both the export of goods and the import of goods. Okay, you are crossing a border between 2 different states, if you want, and formalities have to be done for both sides. Let's make absolutely clear also, formalities are one thing, inspection or controls are another thing. Formalities are systematic. Every vehicle will have to accomplish or to have formalities done before they cross the channel. Inspection and controls will cover only a fraction of the traffic. The haulier is responsible to make sure that all the goods that are carried in his vehicles have completed the formalities before actually the vehicle comes to us and cross the channel. But a large part of these formalities will actually have been done by your customers, the customer of the hauliers, the shippers, or their customs representatives. The key objective for EUROTUNNEL is to maintain the fluidity of our traffic. We have worked over the last 4 years since Brexit was decided in 2016. We have had 4 years to prepare for this new situation, and we have worked very closely with French and UK authorities and governments. We had a close work with them, a lot of workshops, for instance, to put in place the Frontière Intelligente smart border process that we have built with the French douane. A lot of money have been invested by EUROTUNNEL on our terminals to make sure that we have got the right equipments, buildings, parkings, IT technology, to make sure that the process of your vehicles will be done as fluidly as possible. For instance, we have built a big centre douane SIVEP, which is a place where the douane and the SIVEP, so the SIVEP is a Service d'Inspection Vétérinaire et Phytosanitaire, so basically vet and phytosanitary controls of the Ministry of Agriculture in France. In this place, these agencies will be able to complete their controls and whatever they need to do with your vehicles and their goods. So a big place with a building. We will see that in the next slides. We have built also a big new parking, over 260 spaces, in which there is an export facility building. We will cover that as well. And we have extended our capacity and throughput capacity for the volume of trucks that we carry every day by almost 40% at the pit stop, which is one of the key places where most of the new tasks will be completed on our terminals. We have also recruited staff. We have recruited and trained this staff. We have new jobs, new functions that we have to fulfill as a company. And as I said, we have had to make sure our team are widened to be able to carry these tasks. There will be 3 key categories of formalities to be done to cross the channel. First block is about customs references, barcodes. We will talk about transit, MRN, GMR, so we will come back on that. The second part is everything that is linked to animal and plant products, what we call the sanitary and phytosanitary certificates that will need to be completed for this kind of goods. And another section, which is safety and security declarations that the haulier will have to do for the goods that are carried. So the solution that EUROTUNNEL has put in place is twofold. We have basically 2 options proposed to our customers. The first one, that we call EUROTUNNEL Border Pass, is a system, a service by which the haulier send us in advance all their customs barcodes, declaration, references, link this to their account, or by their account, link it to a vehicle and an intention of travel for their vehicle, what we call a booking, even though it's not a true booking, or the possibility simply to turn up without having informed the EUROTUNNEL of anything in advance, just turn up with the truck. The driver will then have to show his barcode and his customs documents that will be scanned by EUROTUNNEL agents on the spot at the pit stop before crossing. Okay, so 2 options. One, when you know the information in advance and you can send it to EUROTUNNEL, that's a preferred situation if you can, or still the possibility in a flexible way to just turn up without notice and still be able to travel. So I come back a bit more into detail about the EUROTUNNEL border pass. So as I said, you send the data before the crossing. So you send the data through your web account. You must be an account holder of EUROTUNNEL. And you can send all the information, whether they are export or import, for both the French and British authorities, okay? And as I said, it has to be associated with an actual crossing of a vehicle. When you do this, the driver, when you arrive at pit stop, when he turns up at the terminal, doesn't have to show any document to EUROTUNNEL. We will have the information in our system. We will match that to the tractor and trailer registration number of the vehicle, and we will be able then to send this couple to the authorities. So the next step, automatic identification of the vehicle, and that is sent to the British and French authorities. The objective there is to save time. Clearly, the driver doesn't need to show anything to us. We know in advance the information. We can easily process these trucks. The information are then sent to the French and British authorities, attached with a vehicle registration number, so that they can do their job, identify the right vehicle with the right goods attached to that. In terms of flexibility, you can still send these references up to 30 minutes before the actual travel of the vehicle or before the vehicle turns up in the terminal. And if you have started to send us information in advance, you can still modify your data up to 30 minutes before the terminal, the truck arrives to the terminal. Okay, so clearly this is an option that we would like you to favor. If you can, send us in advance the information so that it will facilitate the process of your vehicles at pit stop. So let's look at the process now of a vehicle between France and the UK. This is the overview of the process of a truck between the French motorway, A16, exit 42 on the French side, to the M20 on the British side, okay? When I say, by the way, when I say a truck, it's any vehicle carrying freight goods, whether it is a truck or a van, you know, we are talking of freight vehicles. If I say truck during this conversation, I will always mean truck or van. You see that the only new thing that we have into the process is new functions that we will have to carry out at the pit stop, which is the first place where the vehicle arrives when he enters the terminal. Pit stop is actually a place where we are already carrying some functions and some tasks for the crossing in EUROTUNNEL. That's where first we are checking the integrity of the vehicle. For instance, check if tarpaulin has been ripped, if there is any default to the truck that is likely to create trouble when it's carried in a tunnel and in a train. So we check the sanitary, the shape of the vehicle. That's the first function. The second one in France is also the place where you check whether you have got migrants on board. In addition to this task, we will now add to this stop new task linked to the new formalities. On average today, a stop at this place is between 2 and 3 minutes per vehicle. Of course, we treat and we manage several vehicles at the same time. We will be able to carry out the new formalities within the time frame of the stop of the actual vehicle, the actual stop of the vehicle. So let's explain in detail how it will work. So on this picture, this is for those who are not familiar with the geography of our French terminal. This is a French terminal of EUROTUNNEL for freight. On the top of the image, you have got the A16, which is the French motorway. So the truck arrives by this dark blue arrow to the big roundabout at the bottom of the page. And then you see that the first stop of the vehicle is at what I've just called the pit stop, where we will have this new task. So before explaining how it will go further, let's look at what is the documentation that will be required before crossing with EUROTUNNEL. As I said, 3 categories of documents and formalities to have accomplished before crossing: customs references, sanitary references for animal and plant products, safety and security declaration by the hauliers. Okay, and I will explain what documents the drivers will have to have on board during the crossing. We are in the process of a vehicle, the journey of a vehicle from France, leaving the EU, to go to the UK. So the first set of formalities are regarding export declaration for the EU and French authorities. So that will start from 1st of January. In customs terms, the goods will have been declared, and MRN, movement reference number barcode, will have been provided for these goods. They can be either under transit, that will be a transit MRN, or there will be through a classic export-import declaration, and it's then called EAD, which is Export Accompanied Document. All this barcode can be gathered into a single barcode that is called the code envelope. It's a facility that has been built by the French douane, by which, with a simple app, you can gather all your barcode, MRN barcode, into a single one, to facilitate and to make it easier for you, for your drivers, and for us. In customs terms, you can also have a tier carnet or an ATA carnet. That's still possible. And also, if the systems are unavailable, the French system, the French douane system, there will be a possibility to have an emergency document, document de secours en français, which will also be recognized as a valid custom document across the border. For the export side, i.e. for the French and European authorities, you don't need to have sanitary references to exit the EU, and you don't necessarily, still to be confirmed, but you probably won't have to make a safety and security declaration, because the fact that you have declared that in the customs system will hopefully automatically be used as a sanitary safety and security declaration. The document that the driver has to have on board definitely is when the goods are under transit. The driver will have to have with him the TAD, the transit accompanied document, if he's traveling under transit. Okay. Now, all that is valid when you are carrying goods. If you are an empty truck, of course, you cannot have an MRN because you have nothing to declare to the customs. And therefore, if the driver turns up without MRN barcodes, we will ask him the question whether or not he's empty. Or sometimes, the other category is when you are carrying only postal goods in the truck, you are exempted to declare to the douane and to the customs. So for these trucks, we will ask the question to the driver: if you don't have any customs references, is it because you are empty or you carry only postal goods? Okay. And that, of course, this information can also be sent in advance into the EUROTUNNEL border pass. Then you cross the channel and you arrive in the UK, so you have to have made import declaration for the British authorities. There will be 2 steps in this process. One will start on the 1st of January, and the second step will be starting from the 1st of July. So let's start with the 1st of July. From the 1st of July, every truck that is entering the United Kingdom will have to have a single GMR, Good Movement Reference Number. This will be mandatory for every vehicle. Okay, so it's a single code, it's a single reference that you can obtain through the GVMS system from the British authorities. So GVMS is Goods and Vehicle Movement Service. And this GMR code, single one for the truck, will include everything in terms of custom declaration, sanitary codes, safety and security references that will have been obtained through different administration and different systems. All that will be gathered into one single GMR for a vehicle. Important thing, even empty trucks and postal goods will have to have a single GMR by this date. I come back on the period, transitional period between 1st of January and 1st of July. During this period, you must have a GMR attached to the vehicle only if the goods in the vehicle are under transit. If they are in transit, you need to have a GMR. If you are not in transit or in any other case, you don't need a GMR during this first 6 months of the year. Okay. So let's continue the journey of a truck. You arrive to the terminal. The plate number of the tractor and the trailer are automatically identified by plate number readers. The truck arrives to the pit stop, so you see the view of a pit stop. This is a place where you can manage 10 trucks in the same lane, if you want, in parallel. Actually, it's 20 trucks because we do the same during the stop of the 2 lanes of 10 trucks. And when the truck arrives, the first thing we will have to identify is who is the truck who has been pre-declared through the EUROTUNNEL border pass. For this truck, that will be easy. That will be an automatic recognition of the plate number and the border pass number that will be matched and sent to the authorities. Or the driver simply turns up, is not recognized as having a EUROTUNNEL border pass sent in advance. The driver will then show his documents and our EUROTUNNEL agent will scan these barcodes, again, attach it to the plate number of the vehicle and send it to the authorities on both sides. Important information, the driver stays on board the vehicle at this step. It is important. The agent of EUROTUNNEL that will complete the scanning and check the documents or check whether the vehicle is registered under EUROTUNNEL border pass. The agent will go to the truck, to the driver to do this task. Okay. So again, these new functions will be done by additional people to those who are already doing the safety and the migrant checks. And the intention is to have this done during the normal stop of a truck without adding any more waiting time. All the trucks have to go through this part of the journey to the pit stop. And I think that's all for this part. Before we continue the journey to the UK, let's come back to the possibility of a truck having not completed an export declaration and wanting to leave the EU. So that's something you should not do. If you leave the EU, you should have made an export declaration. It will be possible to make this export declaration in a building, a border facilities building that we have built at the entry of the terminal. So it's not a big change compared to the normal flow. In the big parking that you see on the side, on the right side of this picture, you see the big parking and a new building in which the driver will be able to do his export declaration. The arrow is in black. The signage on the road will be in black. You see under the border facility building mentioned, you see the non-customs ready to UK signaling that will be put and that already put on the road access to this building. So that's easy to follow for your driver. If a driver has not understood that there was an export declaration to be made before getting to the pit stop, when he arrived at the pit stop and when the agent will tell him, sorry, but you need to have an export declaration, he will be explained how to get back to this building, again, with a very easy access and very well clearly signal, so that the driver can come back to the export or the border facility building, make his export declaration, and then go again to the pit stop. Okay? So the way it will be done in this building, so you see a picture of this building. In this building, we will have a dedicated EUROTUNNEL team, which we call EUROTUNNEL Border Service, which will be there to assist drivers 24/7. Or there will always be someone to assist a driver at any time. This assistant can take the form of the finalization of an import or export declaration, complete an export declaration if there is none. We will have the possibility of the team in place there. The EUROTUNNEL Border Service will be in contact with the custom broker and can contact them if required. You will have the possibility also to print documents or for your drivers to get access to a printer and to a copier or whatever is required to make sure that all the formalities have been properly made before crossing. Okay. This team, EUROTUNNEL Border Service, will act as the official representative of the RDE, the custom brokers, who will be in contract with EUROTUNNEL in this process. When the trucks has actually crossed the channel with on board our trains, when it arrives in the UK, there will be absolutely no change compared to today's operation. It will just leave the train, get directly to the motorway without having to make another stop on the terminal. So that doesn't change at all compared to what these trucks are doing today. Why? Because the controls that will be carried out by the Customs and Sanitary Administration will be done in a site that is remote from our terminal near Ashford, in a place called Sevington. It is actually 9 miles away from EUROTUNNEL when you are driving towards London. It's on junction 10A of the M20. A place has been built and identified by the British authorities to carry out what they want to do in terms of documentation, physical checks if necessary, for both the Customs and Sanitary Administration. Okay, it is a site that will be managed by these administrations. So this is the France to UK process. Let's now have a look at the journey of a vehicle between the UK and France. Actually, this picture is a nice picture. That's a platform of EUROTUNNEL at night. Just so let's look at the process of the journey of a truck in the other direction. So getting back from the UK to France. Again, so leaving the M20 on junction 11A, which is our exit, to reach A16 on the other side on the French territory. Same process as today. Exactly as for the French side, a new functionality at the pit stop. And you see the addition of another element, which is at the end of the journey, when the train arrives in France, the trucks leave the train, and on the road, exit road from the terminal before getting to the waterway, there will be an personalized information given to the driver, who will be instructed whether he is in the green status, for customs, for the French customs, or in an orange status. And depending on this color, if he's green, he will have a free exit to the motorway. If he's orange, he would have to go on a place where French Customs and Sanitary Administration will carry their tasks. So again, let's look in detail about on the documentation required for crossing with EUROTUNNEL in this direction. So in this direction, so getting from the UK to France, you are leaving the UK, so you have to make export declaration for the British authorities. You see exactly like I explained on the other direction, a two-step process by which from the 1st of July, every vehicle will have to have a single GMR. I will not repeat what I've said about how to obtain this GMR from the GVMS system. And again, for the first 6 months of next year, between January and July, this GMR will only be mandatory for goods traveling under transit. Okay, and of course, if you are carrying goods under transit, the driver will have the tag on board during the journey. Not massively different from the other side. When you are arriving to the EU territory through France, so for the French authorities, you will be in import, so you will have to have accomplished import declaration from the 1st of January 2021. Customs terms, again, you have to get an MRN number, an MRN barcode if you are in transit for your goods, or if you use the classic export-import declaration to have the barcode of your import pre-declaration. And again, all these codes can be gathered into a single envelope code on the application provided by the French douane. Okay, so we strongly advise you to use this envelope code if you can, to make sure that it's an easier process for you, for your drivers, and for us. Again, you can also use a tier or ATA carnet, or emergency document if the system is in default for the French douane. If you are carrying animal and plant products, you can also, if you wish, send us in advance if you are using the EUROTUNNEL border pass, the system by which you can send us in advance your references. You can send us in advance the DSCE references, which is basically the veterinary and phytosanitary reference numbers, so that it will make it faster and easier for your drivers and for the sanitary authorities in France to make their tasks. You will also have to have done an safety and security declaration, ENS, ICS, but you don't need to send that or to tell us, or the drivers will not have to show us anything, okay? This is something that the haulier will have to do directly with the authorities. In terms of documents we have on board, again, TAD, the transit document if you are in transit, possibly, not yet fully confirmed, but possibly sanitary certificate if it has not been preloaded already into the system by the shipper. I think I've covered everything there. Empty trucks and postal goods, as I said, we'll have to have a GMR after 1st of July. And on the import side, they will have to be declared because, of course, they will not be in a position to show customs documents. And we will ask them, you know, why have you not got your customs documents? The driver will have to declare it is because I am empty or I am carrying only postal goods. So same process, when the vehicle arrives at checking on the Folkestone terminal, automatic detection of the tractor and trailer numbers by automatic plate number recognition systems. Pit stop, same process as for the French side, two options. The goods in the trucks have already been pre-declared to EUROTUNNEL through a EUROTUNNEL border pass. We automatically recognize this EUROTUNNEL border pass and the reference with the tractor number or with the vehicle number, or the drivers will have to show his documents and an agent of EUROTUNNEL will scan the barcodes of these documents. Again, match it with the vehicle number and this couple of information, customs barcodes and truck details, truck registration number, will be sent to the French and British authorities. Same process, the driver stays on board. All the vehicles need to be processed at the pit stop. During the journey, while the driver is on board the train and with this truck, the information that has been sent to the French authorities, they will have time to look at them, make their own task on this, and they will return to us, to EUROTUNNEL, the status of the vehicle when he enters the territory in France. Again, green or orange, depending on what the customs want to do with the truck. One precision there, it's important to notice that if you are carrying only fish and seafood only, you will always be put in green by the French authorities, but you will have to go to the SIVEP in Boulogne. So again, the SIVEP is a vet and phytosanitary control in Boulogne to do your inspection and your declaration. Sorry. So the way it will be, the driver will take his truck, leave the train, start to exit the terminal. The exit road of the terminal has been narrowed into one single lane, so only one truck each at a time can be processed in front of these panels. There will be a digital panel, like you see on the picture on the left side, where you will have the registration number of the tractor unit. So the driver can have absolutely no doubt of who he is, or sorry, of that the message is addressed to him. and he will be clearly instructed whether he is in a green status or in an orange status. If he is on a green status, he can leave the terminal directly to the motorway. That means that he will have been cleared on the custom side. If he is told that he is orange, he will have to go to a place that is still on our terminal before reaching the motorway. That's what we call the Centre Douane SIVEP, that I will detail later. But you can see on the picture on the right that actually after the messaging system at the bottom of the picture, the two lanes are going around the new parking. And after this new parking, you will have a separation of the green lane and the orange lane to go to the Centre Douane SIVEP. So when you arrive to the Centre Douane SIVEP, your drivers will have to stop their vehicle to walk to this building with the paper or with their reference if necessary. For the customs and sanitary administration to do whatever they want to do with them, mainly inspection of documents or goods. If it's just a simple inspection of document, then the driver, when he's told that he's green, can get back to his vehicle and leave the terminal through the green lane. Sometimes the customs or the sanitary administration will ask him to go at the back of the building, where we have 9 platforms and with the equivalent storage capacity behind the platform, where the authorities can ask for a physical check of the goods or a part of the goods that can be unloaded from the truck. On this 9 platform, these platforms are also equipped with refrigerated facilities, by which, if they need to open a truck and to manipulate and check frozen goods or refrigerated temperature control goods, they can do that in a safe way. This parking is a parking and a full site that is in the hand of the authorities, so it's not a place where your truck drivers can choose to park after the controls. Once he has been put in green by the authorities, he has to leave the site immediately. There will not be a possibility to spend the night or to take a pause on this parking. So the way it will work in this building is that, again, a dedicated team of EUROTUNNEL agents called EUROTUNNEL Border Service will assist the drivers 24/7. For instance, if there is physical checks to be carried out by the authorities, the EUROTUNNEL team will be able, with the right equipment like forklifts, to assist the management of the cargo and the loads on behalf of the authorities. This team can also be the contact with the custom brokers or the RDE who will be in contract with EUROTUNNEL if there is anything to be confirmed and exchanged with them. And that's a place where the driver will be able to finalize or amend any formalities in terms of import for the French and European administration, both for customs and sanitary aspects. Okay, so this is the end of the webinar. I'm sure you have plenty of other questions on this process. So I invite you to now send your questions to the website that you have got at the. We will put again the address at the end of the presentation. One thing is we are prepared for Brexit for sure. We need now everyone to be prepared. I mean, the hauliers, their drivers, but also everyone in the good chain. Share this information with your teams. Share this information with your customers. Again, this presentation and this video will be put online. Keep you informed as much as you can on the Brexit and whatever can be changed on the rules and the formalities that need to be done from the 1st of January. We can help you. We are putting in real time any link that the authorities are putting live in their system. We will, you can find these links on our website, eurotunnelfreight.com. So have a permanent, periodical look at this if you can. There are also webinars that are organized by British authorities, French authorities. In any country, there are a lot of webinars now organized. I invite you to assist and to listen to this webinar. It may be a repetition of a lot of things, but the better you understand all of this, the better it will be for everyone on the 1st of January. You can also always rely on our EUROTUNNEL account manager. So we have a commercial team that is there to help you understand in more details. If you wish, if you have questions, you can directly contact your EUROTUNNEL account manager. We are here to serve you also on your preparation to these new formalities. So again, this is a link to the site that we have put in place where you can ask your question, and we will answer all of them if we can. And if not, we will try to find the right contact or the right answer directly from the authorities. The end of this webinar. So thank you again to have assisted to this webinar. It's just the first one. You have a second one in 2 weeks' time where we will answer in more detail all your questions on this process. I hope it has been useful for you today, and see you in 2 weeks' time. Have a good day.